Ruckerman.
Choice. No pretense, no hidden schemes. Just sports, passion, fueling dreams. From the field to the court, every play that's made. Real takes over fake debates. Turn it up, hear the honest sound. Unfiltered sports all year round. Discussions pure, no masquerade. Real takes over fake debates. Turn it up. Over fake debates. Real takes over fake debates. Real takes over fake debates.
And we are live. Sbtalksports, Sean Webb, real takes over fake debates. Whoa, Sean, I just see what you just put in the private chat. Wow, okay. Oh, whoa. We might have to talk about that. I'm sorry not to mess up the intro. That was definitely a real takeover reaction. Even though we don't got basketball playing for today, we got all NFL because there's nothing really crazy happening in the NBA. But Sbtalksports, this is Sean Webb. This is Monday. Welcome to Real Takes Over Fake Debates. Make sure you guys like, make sure you guys share, make sure you guys subscribe on any platform that you watch. Salute Tiff in the chat. She says salute SB and Sean. Hit the like button as you come in. Ravens are the 4th seed as of today in the AFC. The Ravens came back. And I'm just saying, Sean, when you say the word MVP valuable, I'm just saying nothing more valuable than Lamar Jackson. And that's a fact. We got a lot of things to talk about, and because a lot of things have been going on in the NFL world. I ain't gonna lie, this last Sunday has been one of the best football Sundays that I have watched. We had a couple games in overtime. Games came down to the last minute. We had people first appearances on games, Shedeur Sanders to be exact. So it was, I'll be honest, this is one of the better football Sundays of this season. You know, you get ups and downs during the season, but football is football. And me being in Chicago and the Bears doing good, the city is on fire. I all my cousins and my homies, they making videos, they hit me up and everything. They like, you know, Chicago on fire right now because the Bears actually good. But we got to start into some disgusting news, I should say, first, because I think his actions was disgusting what he did. Bengals, Jamar Chase apologized for spitting on Steelers, Jalen Ramsey. Actually, to be exact, he just apologized for his actions. He didn't really apologize to Jalen Ramsey. To be exact, what he exactly said was, what I did was wrong. Chase posted on Instagram, the circumstances don't matter. My passion for the game is no excuse. There is zero place in our sport or in life for that level of disrespect. I want to personally apologize to everyone within the Pittsburgh Steelers organization. I let my emotions in the moment get the better of me. I can only hope and trust that none of it represent who I am, not as a competitor, teammate, or person. I also want to apologize to my coaches, teammates, and organization for not meeting my own standard as a leader of this team. This has been a tough season with some incredible hard losses. We all been frustrated, but instead of stepping up with calm, class, and leadership, I let you down. May having to sit out yesterday's game makes my actions even more inexcusable. I didn't hear it. My fault, Jalen Ramsey. I spit on you at all. He said to the Steelers organization, the whole, if you want to cover that up, is that. And don't get me wrong. Jalen Ramsey possibly said something to the level of disrespect to make it go from that point. 100%, Sean. 100. It's a possibility. It's always a possibility. But when you take it to that level of disgust to spit on somebody, at that point, you might as well just put your hands on them and fault them. I just feel more as a man. Like I think as a man, when it comes to like spitting, that's just utterly disgusting. But what's your reaction to the apology? And also, what's your reaction to him not personally apologizing to Jalen Ramsey?
Well, first, I think he had to apologize. Obviously, him missing yesterday, potentially had a great outcome and a great deal on what happened in yesterday's game against the Patriots. When you're sitting at home on a Sunday, not getting a game check and you're not out there, trying to help, your team win, there's some perspective that you probably, have. I wish this had been done last week rather than after, a week or so, but, in his own time. As far as him not addressing Jalen Ramsey in the public apology, maybe they talked, offline or something. Maybe he reached out to him. I don't want to assume that he didn't do that. But obviously, when you do something to someone in such a public forum, generally you like to kind of see someone apologize in a public way. The fact that he didn't do that, again, a little disappointing. But, I think the thing about Jamar Chase, and if you've ever followed him, he seems to be a pretty decent guy. And, off the field is never really an issue for him. And, and hopefully, this is just a one-time incident and he'll be, better for it going forward. So we'll see.
Hopefully, because he is one of the better receivers in the league. Obviously, it's been a crazy season for them. Joe Burrow has been out this whole time. Honestly, and I see they trying to rev up, because I'm looking at them in the standings. They're trying to rev up Joe Burrow back. I don't really think it's really worth it this season, to be honest with you. But if I get why you want to bring Joe Burrow back, but it's like you're really 3-8. You want to really take the risk of him coming back, because I don't really see the Ravens losing no more than like one more game this season. If that, they might win out the season.
Right.
So I can see, you look at the playoff pictures. Besides, who's really next is with the Steelers.
They got the Steelers on Thursday night. No, I'm sorry. No, they got the Ravens on Thursday night football. So, we'll see, what happens. They're going to have a hard way to go. I mean, just in the AFC, but just in the division right now, obviously the Ravens are leading the division, and you got to believe that there's a good chance. They haven't played the Steelers yet. They play the Steelers here shortly, but you got to believe the Ravens are obviously the favorite in the division, followed by the Steelers. Finishing third in the division, you're not making the playoffs. And there's a chance Joe Burrow could be back Thursday night. I know he was pushing to play yesterday. Obviously, he didn't. But, from the Bengals' perspective, obviously they're going to have to make, in order to make a decision about that.
I think Joe should just sit out the season. Says that all I'm saying is he better not try no nasty actions on Thursday night against the Ravens. We not having it. Probably not. I think he should sit out.
Right.
I think he should just sit out the season.
Yeah.
Next up on the list, and I can't believe the Raiders would do something like this. The Raiders has fired offensive coordinator Chip Kelly after 11 games. Sean, I'm highly disappointed in this. I feel like you get rid of a coach who was all about what Raider culture is about. And, when you tell a running back not to do your stance that got you to the league, when you get rid of players like Shady, Deshaun Jackson, Michael Vick, because you want to have your style of play, and when you bring a sturdy leadership to a team, Sean, I think he should stay there. I think the Raiders 1,000% got this wrong. I was loving for what I seen from Chip Kelly's offense. I was loving to see Geno Smith get sacked almost like 10 times yesterday, if it was 10. I love to see Geno and what those boys was doing in that offense. I just think they got it wrong, Sean. Am I wrong or am I overreacting?
I mean, of course, as a Chargers fan, this is the natural response, from you. Not overly surprised by that. If you've watched the Raiders on offense this season, it's not been good.
No, it's been good to me.
It's been good to you, but obviously,
I wanted 6 more weeks of this.
Well, I know you did, and again, I think at a certain point, there was always a question to me about the match with Chip Kelly and with Geno and with how that offense was set up. Yesterday there was a play in the game. It was really kind of interesting, but Ashton Genty hit like a 12-yard run, was his longest run of the day, and the very next play, Chip Kelly calls a pass play, and for whatever reason, when you just hit the Browns for a 12-yard run, and Geno gets sacked, and it's like why? What are you doing? Like it just the logic of it didn't make sense. But ask Eagles fans, ask fans of any team that's dealt with Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly is about Chip Kelly, over everything. So not surprised this happened. And Pete Carroll, I don't think Pete Carroll's in trouble because I think this is only his first year. I don't see the Raiders making a coaching change after this season. No. But that said,
next season that they do the same thing.
Well, obviously they're going to have to address several things. Their offensive line is not good. They don't really scare you at wide receiver at all. I mean, obviously they have Brock Bowers, who's been hurt in and out this season, and Ashton Genty, who they still have high hopes for, and he shows flashes of why he was the 6th pick of the draft. But ultimately, the Raiders are going to have to fix that offensive line first, and then figure out that wide receiver position.
I think. Let me be honest. I'll say they should never fired Antonio Pierce. I'm gonna be real with you. That team. I mean, I'm cool with the decision that they made. There's 2 ways how I feel about this. They should never fire Antonio Pierce. He had the locker room. They played way better on him, way better than what they're doing right now. I get his year on Pete Carroll. I'm gonna be real with you. I think Pete Carroll outdated. I think he should retire. The same stuff you tried to do with Seattle is not working like that no more. And if you want it to work, you have to have the exact same personnel that you had to make it work. And it's not going to work. Your offensive line is not as good as what you had in Seattle. Your defense, and you don't have the personnel on defense besides Max Crosby, really, to do that. I think even partial of the problem that they had, because I seen a clip of Antonio Pierce, and I'm not even saying this because I know we're going to talk about Shedeur today, where he even said Shedeur was at the top of their board for him and what they was going to do with the Raiders. Thank God Shedeur not on the Raiders, because I think he's going to be a good quarterback, because who needs a solid quarterback in this tough division? Because I think we got one of the best well-coached divisions besides Pete Carroll. Because Pete Carroll is also like Chip Kelly, stuck in his ways and want to do things his way. And he's not, to me personally, I could be wrong, Sean, it's better football heads than me. I don't feel like he's adjusting to today's era of football. I think he's still trying to do what he did back then with the Legion of Boom, or the little stint he did with Geno. It's not working. And if you want that to work, you need to overpay for the personnel to get it on your team. And I don't see the Raiders doing that either, Sean.
Well, I mean, they're a lot of decisions that are being made are being pushed by the GOAT. And, now we're going to see if you can translate the success you had on the field into now being, a big part of ownership and being a big part of some of the decisions that are made. Again, we've seen some all-time greats, crap the bed in the front office. And
I'm going to say, who else is the GOAT of basketball? We consider Michael Jordan, right? Michael Jordan is the Michael Jordan of the on the court. He's the Kwame Brown in the front office.
Yeah.
No offense to Kwame.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of offensive to Kwame, but the point is that it's we'll see. You're right. This should be a process. I think what the Raiders can't continue to do is every year change over. They got John Sbtalksports, their GM from Tampa.
Yep.
Tampa, he came from an organization where they built largely through, trying to draft well and making smart free agent moves. That has to be, I think, the Raiders' MO moving forward is let's build this thing up in the draft largely. And if we can make a smart free agent move, let's figure it out. But, changing every year and resetting every year, I think becomes a problem. It won't work for you.
Oh. Also, I just see that we got to do this next story. I read the story when I talk about it. Quick, Sean, just real quick. It ain't nothing really crazy. But Justin Tucker is trying out for your Saints as we speak today, since it's been, you rocking with that move or it's like, who cares?
There are a lot of massage parlors in New Orleans.
Okay, on to the next story. JJ McCarthy is in concussion protocol after post-game syndromes. I'm gonna let you react to it because I got a theory on what this really was. But what you think, Sean, about JJ in a concussion protocol?
I mean, that was one of the games I was watching yesterday in the early slate. It did not look good at all for him yesterday. It did not look good for him at all. Now, the Packers defense is really good, right? Let's give some credit to the Packers defense. They're very good, obviously. And if you ask me, the Packers defense and Emmanuel Wilson are the reason why they won that game yesterday. They ran the ball well, and they played very, very good defense.
Jordan Love.
Well, Jordan Love yesterday, I mean, and again, some of it, I think, was just the weather conditions. Again, the Packers, still dealing with, drops and things of that nature, so that's just going to – I think we just have to count the Packers receivers. They're going to drop the ball at some point during the game. That said, it did not look good yesterday. J.J. McCarthy, particularly in the second half, he looked flustered. Threw 2 interceptions late in the game. Later in the game, it did not look well at all. I picked Minnesota to finish last in division, part because I didn't believe that J.J. McCarthy was going to help them stay at the same level.
I believe we both did.
I think we both did as well. But I think Minnesota has to – well, I know we're going to talk about this more later. It did not look well. But I do, of course, want to hear your theory on J.J. McCarthy from yesterday.
Oh, he Magic City. You know what Magic City is in Atlanta? Buns. That's all you. If you go to Magic City, you get wings and buns. That's all you go. That's what I think J.J. McCarthy is. Because if a old Kirk Cousins, who lost his starting job to Michael Penix, balled out. Then, even though Sam Darnold is playing good in Seattle, Seattle is playing good. I give Sam Darnold his credit. He's okay. Can still find a way to be great, because that's the only position of weakness for Minnesota, to me personally, where it's like they got a tough division.
Yes.
J.J. McCarthy is literally holding his team back. I don't trust his arm. I don't trust his decision-making. I don't like nothing. I don't like nothing that he do on the field. I don't even like that he gave himself a nickname 9. And you have done nothing in the league besides have a terrible 1, 2, 3 quarters against the Bears early this season and played good in the 4th. That's the only thing that you have done. But you want to give yourself a nickname. That notification was nothing crazy. But you want to give yourself a nickname, and he's garbage. He literally got, and what you're going to talk about later, got one of the best receivers in the league looking trash. I literally seen Kirk Cousins get another contract because of him. I seen Sam Darnold get a contract with Seattle because of him. You can't find a way to give him the ball, though. JJ McCarthy, what you're going to get him more or less is utterly terrible. And I'm going to be real with you, Sean, I don't believe that he's actually in concussion protocol. I just think this was a better way to pull him without pulling him out, because if you flat out came out and said, we benching JJ McCarthy, whoever made the decision as an owner up top, this is how I would obviously feel, but as the owner up top, if you told me we let go of Sam Darnold, who is now balling with the Seahawks, and the Seahawks are 8-3, and we let Kirk Cousins walk, even though Kirk Cousins is bad, but Kirk Cousins was playing good. For this kid, and he playing trash, and we last our division, you're fired. That's why I think they did concussion protocol, because let's be honest, he got benched. As he should have got benched, because he has been trash. And that is another example. Your assist to turnover ratio, your NO to touchdown ratio is garbage. Garbage. I'm sorry, Sean. This JJ, I don't like nothing about JJ. Nothing. He is at best quarterback 2. That's at best. That's if he playing on a regular QB3. He's not good. Nothing stands out about him. He's the single-hand reason why the Vikings are as bad as they is. Justin Jefferson has 2 touchdowns. Sean, Justin Jefferson has 2 touchdowns. It is week 12. It's no excuse for that.
I just want to say, just real quick, if JJ stood for Jalen J. Sean, we'd be having a whole different conversation. Then we can move on.
I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you. I think any quarterback with a strong arm and just basic quarterback skills that make you good enough or solid enough to be a starter, Minnesota will be fighting for the number 1 seat in AFC North. It's literally him. It's literally him.
Yeah, and I also heard a rumor, and again, I don't know how true it is. We'll see right now.
We'll say allegedly.
Allegedly, the Vikings didn't want JJ McCarthy. They wanted Michael Penix. And obviously Penix went 8, and they took JJ McCarthy. They jumped up to take JJ McCarthy because they were concerned about just where quarterbacks were going. Mm-hmm. But what I heard was that they wanted Michael Penix Jr. That's who they were targeting.
Michael Penix would have been a dog in Minnesota. Yeah,
so,
that sucks. That sucks for them, man. He said Justin Jefferson. Yeah, he is. No, he's not. I think he had 700. I think I looked earlier. Me and my boy was arguing about this earlier. Next up on this, we got a lot of stuff happened this week, and it was pretty get into this Shedeur time. But JSN sets the team single season receiving record as Seahawks beat the Titans. Now we talk about Jetta. It's a certain thing I gotten here for the real takeover reaction about Jetta, but I can be real. If I had to say who's playing the best right now at receiver, I think JSN is that right now. How you feeling about JSN breaking a single season record? And am I wrong for overreacting saying he is playing like the best receiver right now?
I mean, obviously, when you talk about what he's doing this season. There were a lot of questions when they traded DK Metcalf to Pittsburgh about whether or not JSN was ready to be that true number 1. Obviously, I think he's answered those questions with the way he's playing this season. I think he and Puka Nacua, in my opinion, are probably playing the receiver position better than anybody in the NFL right now.
Yes.
There's some other guys in that conversation, but those 2 are the guys that stand out for me just right off top. But yeah, I mean, it's a major deal. I know we have another question about him later on, but he's having a tremendous season, and we'll see if this translates into playoffs. But JSN's having a tremendous season.
Yeah, JSN has been balling. But let's get into the real, because I want to come back to the JSN stuff because we got something for the JSN thing. Sean, you made something bold. I usually claim a lot of stuff in real takeover reaction, but you got to claim this one. But as we know, Shedeur has made his first start. The Browns get the win. And it just has been announced because everybody has been questioning, will Shedeur get another chance to start? Shedeur will remain the starter as Dillon Gabriel exit concussion protocol.
The caveat is this coming week.
This coming week, at least.
He's started this week against San Francisco, but yes.
I'm going to say this, John, before I ask the question I want to ask you about this.
Mm-hmm.
You would be, I guarantee you, owner who came out and said what he said about Shedeur earlier this season, who didn't want him. But guess what? If I know somebody who owns a team, I mean, they have a lot of money and they care about money. I guarantee you he's probably stepped down there and went down and said, Kevin Stefanski, I don't care what you got going on or how you feel, Shedeur is starting because this will be Shedeur's first home game. Everybody in Cleveland loves Shedeur. I didn't even get to the fans part. Well, I'm going to say the fans part next. If you don't start this boy in his first game at home, I will come down there and choke you personally. That game will be sold out. And they're going to upcharge the tickets, which is crazy how much you said you didn't want nobody. But I guarantee the tickets, I'm going to look on tonight. I'm going to look up the ticket prices for the Cleveland Browns game, and I'm going to probably look around and ask somebody what they usually pay for tickets. I guarantee they're going to upcharge them prices because they know Shedeur is going to sell out. That game, I don't think Cleveland sold out all this year. That game will be sold out. And then also from the fan perspective, when you haven't scored 20-plus points and God knows when, I believe Browns fans would have went to Stefanski house and choked them personally too and said, if you don't start this kid, we haven't scored over 20 points in I don't know how long. He better play. So I think he didn't have no choice in the matter. But what are your reaction here that Shedeur will be a starter, at least for next week? Am I overreacting for thinking that how the owner and the fans will react that way?
No, I mean, I don't think you're overreacting. I think two things. One, they made it kind of clear that they wanted to see both quarterbacks at some point this season, right? And Shedeur played solid yesterday, enough to warrant another opportunity. But again, I think he's got to build on yesterday. Obviously, he was better than he was last week against Baltimore coming in, in spot duty, once Dillon Gabriel went out and got hurt, and he played really solid yesterday. Can he build on what he did yesterday against the Raiders? And again, we know what the Raiders are, so we don't have to get into that. Can he build on that next week against what we might believe to be a better opponent in the 49ers who are playing tonight? So that's going to be, I think, the key. Right now is just you got to go out and continue to earn it and continue to work hard and continue to show that, yeah, you've made the right decision naming me the starter this week. But now let's build some momentum to, being the starter for the remainder of the season. But this is a part of the evaluation of both Shedeur and Dillon Gabriel as they go into the offseason and figure out what they're going to do with the quarterback position one way or the other. So this totally makes sense, not just short term, but also in terms of their quarterback plans for 2026 and this offseason.
I can say one thing I can't say about Shedeur is I think he won the locker room off bat. I haven't seen Myles Garrett react the way he act with a quarterback play like that since probably Baker Mayfield. And it was 50-50 with Baker because everything was going on. But if a guy, to me personally, Sean, as your quarterback, as your leader, if he got the locker room and he's talented enough, I think you got to roll with that guy. The only thing that I do feel bad about Dillon Gabriel is I feel like the Browns kind of put him in a bad situation. Now, you could question a lot of things about his play that could put him out, but I think as a human, and that's just me being honest, and I'm playing devil's advocate a little bit before I go into the other point. As a human, if you know you're not really wanted by the fans, and then your locker room really don't kind of want you, I don't think you could play your best at all. And I think Dillon Gabriel got put in a bad situation because once you took Shedeur, and I know they use it like I'm going to say Cam Newton, the Cam Newton effect of like your presence is just so big where it's hard for you to just be a backup. But I feel like Kevin Stefanski and the Browns organization made it bigger than what it could have been because you had the owner come out and say he wasn't my pick. You got Stefanski, how he acted and how he been treating Shedeur this whole time. Like, I think they made it bigger than what it was. Because imagine, you could have got the same reaction, but it wouldn't have been as intensified as it is. Because, and then I'm not trying to make it more go too deep when I say what I'm going to say, Sean. Because one thing that made me happy about this last Sunday was how a lot of people came to support Shedeur. You know, a lot of our people came to support Shedeur. We rode our boy. But I'm going to be honest, Sean, you know, when it comes with haters or people who feel a certain way that disagree with somebody, all I'm going to say, Sean, is every person or profile that I seen that says something negative was the same archetype of person. And it ain't just because of their skin complexion, as I'm going to say. They have the same type of style, but to say overalls and a big old. So it kind of like, I ain't gonna say made me angry. I definitely felt the way about that. Not to go too far, you know what I'm saying, a deeper conversation. So I'm even pushing for him even more because it's not like the kid is out here being disrespectful because you telling me being a confident young black man, and I know I put a work in is a problem, or being too cocky is crazy because I have seen people who said worse things than Shedeur. Honestly, Shedeur never really said nothing wrong to me. He always kind of said the right thing in his own way. But because I even heard that, like, I forgot what player it was. I'm sorry. Can't really say my source exactly, which I need to do better on that. But he was just saying, like, how Kevin Stefanski wasn't really, like, attached to what's, like, going on. So even with Shedeur doing like this, his little celebration, even though it's just something simple and it's something for the fans, I think he'd take offense to stuff like that, which I think is stupid, but he just can't relate to him. And I also feel that everybody who's hating on Shedeur, or either I don't want to say the word, you either that blank word or you just can't, the other R word, you just can't relate to me. But I am happy that I've seen a lot of people round up and support Shedeur Sanders because I was definitely front and center. I haven't turned on my TV to watch a Brown game all this year, Sean. I'm be real with you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Nah, I literally I watched the Browns game only because I want to make sure. Hopefully that Shedeur do his thing. What you say, Sean? I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying I've watched quite a few Browns games this year because I try to watch everybody as much as possible. Again, he played really solid yesterday.
Solid.
Can you build on it?
I ain't mean to make it that type of conversation, but that was the experience that I went through, and it was like I felt the way. I ain't gonna lie, I did feel the way, but then I look at the stuff. If I look at the stuff and I feel the way, I start looking deep, and I'm telling you, Sean, if I seen 10 posts, right, 10 posts, and I go through the comments, it's like probably like 10, 20 of them. I swear to you, each person looked the same. American flag, probably big beard, or a pack of Busch Light. And I ain't trying to go too far deep because even though I ain't gonna go there. But I'm just saying it didn't look as different from people that I see that say negative comment. I'm just do your research. Just one day, Sean, when you just chilling and just look. Let's see if SB tweaking. And you gonna look and be like, okay, everybody looks kind of familiar. Maybe down in Tennessee somewhere, in Kentucky. But next part, but not to get thrown off track. Shedeur Sanders, first game, I do like to grade the games. He went 11 for 20, 209, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and I want to talk about that 1 interception for a second. He got sacked. First of all, the Browns defense played outstanding, one of the best defensive performances I ever seen. But that 1 interception where that was Pete Carroll and his team putting a play together for a rookie. Because that's something you didn't expect, like how they made a linebacker fake like he was going that way and then jump back and got an interception. That was a masterclass defensive play, and that's just you getting a rookie. I think any rookie would have got off that because, rookies already predetermined where they're going to throw. And especially if it's a check down, all right, let me get it to the check down as quick as I can. And Pete Carroll and his guys put a masterclass on for that interception.
Yeah, it was a zone. It was so the pre-snap looked like man. They dropped into a zone. The linebacker made a good drop into the zone. I believe it was an angle route.
Yes.
That was being run. I have to go back and watch the film again. But again, it's an interception. It's one interception. The key is snapping clear. You throw an interception, okay. make sure you don't make the same mistake twice. Not in terms of throwing an interception, that you don't do that same exact thing again, right? That's the key. Again, the biggest thing for me yesterday, it wasn't the numbers. It was the fact, well, I mean, the Raiders don't have a great pass rush anyway, but the fact that Shedeur didn't take the unnecessary sacks and he generally stayed in the pocket. They did a decent job of keeping him clean yesterday. Again, he was only sacked one time yesterday, which was good for him. But also they did a good job of, again, trying to stay more run heavy. They had 27 rushing attempts as opposed to 20 pass attempts. So again, they weren't asking him to go out and be all world. They were asking him to manage the game. The one throw that everybody went crazy over that he made to Isaiah Bond was a really good throw. I heard someone say, though, a lot of quarterbacks can't make that throw. A little hyperbole there. A lot of quarterbacks can make that throw.
No, wait. Not a lot of Cleveland quarterbacks can make that throw because they haven't seen the pass that far all this season. So I get the overreaction. I get it.
So, that said, it was a really solid outing, but we got to see, can you build on this and what you're going to do, next Sunday with San Francisco coming in, a San Francisco team that is still very much fighting for playoff positioning and trying to win a very tough division. So we'll see. That's where I am. Solid performance. Let's see you build on it.
What you grading it? A through F?
C.
C.
Yeah, C. Yeah. C. It was a solid performance. There was nothing wowing about the performance. It was a solid performance. But again, to your point, the defense and the running game to me are what buoyed them yesterday, and he managed the game really solid. So C.
I'm gonna give Shedeur a B-. And the only reason why I am now, I'm not gonna be the one to trip up with the Wildcat because I'm like, you got Quishon Jenkins back there. I'm not mad at the play. I know he's like, why you not giving Shedeur a chance in the red zone? Jenkins is probably the best offensive player at this very point in time. I think from when I watched the second half, it was two things that stuck out to me. He was being very conservative and wasn't really doing anything. But Sean, even if you say SB, you overreacted, you got the lead, you gotta just run the clock and just do the lead. Sean, explain to me why did he punt the ball in his own 30?
You want Stefanski?
Mm-hmm. If that's the case, go for it or kick the field goal.
I'm sorry, you said on his own 30 or on the Raiders 30?
No, it was on his side. He punted the ball.
Yeah, no. I mean, again, I think I want to make sure you're saying that the ball was in field goal range.
Yes, it was in field goal range.
That's the Raiders side of the field. Once you cross 50, you're in the Raiders.
Oh territory. Yeah, he was crossed the 50 for sure.
Yeah. Again, their defense was playing really, really well. I think they obviously they're one of the few teams that actually believes in their defense. So, sometimes I know people were talking about the Giants-Lions game yesterday, why, Mike Kafka didn't kick the field goal late in the game, why he went to, for it, because the Lions can score and he didn't trust their defense would keep them out, So it's like, we got to get up 2 scores. I just think it was more, hey, our defense is playing really well. Let's just make this. We've got the game pretty much won. Let's just make this a field position game. And if you miss the field goal, you give, the Raiders better field position with limited time left. So I think that's why it was just more of we're just going to play the long game here. That's all.
Yeah, he said the Giants are done for possibly. Yeah, they done. They done for the season.
Yeah, they've been eliminated from the playoffs, so contention. So yeah.
Oh yeah, just run it up. Don't let Jaxon Dart get hurt. That's y'all future, and then call it one. But speaking of future and the change to a team, the Dallas Cowboys came back from 21-0. And I'm glad the one person is here in the chat. Salute Pete, piece of Johnny in the chat. Here for that hero is back. Oh, I forgot. Oh, yeah. I didn't know if you knew Johnny is a Heat guy like you.
I knew Johnny was a LeBron guy. I didn't realize he was a Heat guy.
Actually, the crazy part about it is I believe Johnny is more of a which was really shocking to believe, but I could be wrong. Or Johnny, tell me in the chat if I'm wrong. I believe that Johnny is more of a Heat fan than he is actually a LeBron fan.
Oh, okay. All right.
Which a lot of people would be shocked to believe. I could be wrong, or Johnny, if I'm wrong, tell me wrong, but I do believe he is more of a Miami Heat fan. So I gotta ask him what he got D-Wade at all time. But the reason I said bringing up this because Ty that man is that super Eagles fan that be in our chat. But Cowboys win the game off a 21-0 deficit. 21-0 deficit. I was gonna pick the Cowboys too, and I picked the week, but I'm just like, I didn't 100% trust them. But their defense has changed since they made the moves. But what was your reaction to this game, Sean?
First, congratulations to the Cowboys for winning their Super Bowl this year.
That's crazy. I wouldn't even. I usually do that. I'm not doing that this time because the Eagles is big. It's bigger problems on the Eagles end because Cowboys punched them in the face and took that game, Sean.
No. Listen, I mean, there were several things, and again, of course, that was the game I was really locked into. You know, obviously, I was watching the Saints game and the Browns Raiders game as well, but I was, of course, locked into that game. A couple things. Obviously, the Eagles jumped out really early.
Agreed.
Give the Cowboys credit for making adjustments. They made great adjustments, particularly defensively in that game. And then it turned into a comedy of penalties and errors in the second half for the Eagles. Again,
that's what AJ Brown was talking about.
Well, I mean, I don't want to say what AJ Brown was talking about because AJ Brown's been all over the place a few times. That said, but I will say a couple things. One, it was very obvious the Cowboys defensively targeted Fred Johnson, the right tackle yesterday, who was playing for Lane Johnson. It was very clear they were doing that. And then the second thing was it was clear the Cowboys wanted to take Saquon out of the game in terms of his running. He had a good game receiving the football, as did A.J. Brown and did Devontae Smith. But the game came down to a couple of things for me. One, you can't have that many penalties and win in the NFL. And the Eagles had a massive amount of penalties. That's on Sirianni. And the second thing, and there are two plays that stand out to me for the Eagles. Again, it's not take away from the Cowboys. Two plays that stand out for me. I understand we're in a different world as it relates to punt returns. When the ball, you don't catch the ball at the 1 yard line on a punt to return a punt.
You never do that. That was stupid.
Let it bounce. He caught it. He tried to make a move. The ball got stripped from him. It didn't end up costing the Eagles because they were able to hold the Cowboys to a field goal. But still, you don't do that. And then the second thing, there's a play on 3rd and 2 late in the game. Eagles are driving. It's 3rd and 2. You send a man in motion to the left on A.J. Brown's side. It's very clear the Cowboys are in man. And they basically, you got one-on-one outside with A.J. Brown on the left. That is normally when the Eagles clear it and they make a shot play to A.J. Brown on 3rd and 2 if they're not running the ball. They send the motion to the left, bringing more coverage to that side, and it ends up being a sack for the Cowboys. It's 3rd and 2. How about this? You can't get 1 yard with a tush push on 3rd and 2. You can't get another yard with a tush push on 4th and 1. They're the masters of it. So the play calling at that point was just massively stupid to me. And again, don't know who called it, whether it was Kevin Patullo or Nick Sirianni. But
I blame them both when it comes to that.
To me was absolutely egregious. Now that said, Cowboys fought to get back in the game. Give them credit for doing that. But Thursdays are coming, and the Kansas City Chiefs are coming. You beat the Chiefs, maybe I'll believe in you a little bit. But until then, enjoy your Super Bowl from this season because it happened yesterday.
The crazy part about it, Sean, how I really feel about the Eagles, and I'll be honest with you, they did all that talking this season about how this championship is deleted. This happened last season. We come in this season fresh. They are playing like a team on a championship high. I think I would feel better if they didn't come in the season saying that, and I could just think like, man, they just got the championship high, man. You know, it was a lot going on. It's hard to play that far away in the season and then have that short of off season and come in and get back right.
Right.
So, but they had this whole mass that they want to sell us. They still playing like a team that won a championship in the next season. Mm-hmm. But a lot of things that's different with them is because their offensive coordinator. Their offensive coordinator is god awful. But I'm blaming Sirianni too. And to be real with you, that second half play, the Cowboys gave us the blueprint to how to beat the Eagles, which is crazy to say because the Cowboys didn't play defense all this season.
Right.
And I think this is a different Cowboys team. It is all around from the wide receivers, from the defense, from Dak Prescott, which you got to give Dak credit. Dak is playing amazing. And their defense is playing better. And it's crazy. I'm lost for words giving the Cowboys this much credit. I usually don't ever do this. I always talk crazy about the Cowboys, but this is a different Cowboys team. I'll be honest with you, Sean. If mainly at home, and I say that too, mainly at home, if they had a chance to sneak that number one seed, which we know that ain't gonna happen, they'll probably be one of the most dangerous teams in the playoffs. But you know they got to go on the road, and they're a different team.
Yeah.
But speaking of different person, different team, Dak Prescott becomes the Cowboys' all-time pass leader with 34,192 yards. He passed Tony Romo, Troy Aikman. Has even me, you can throw me in there too. Has we as fans of football have been too hard on Dak because of the hate of the Cowboys and not really actually appreciate the greatness of Dak Prescott?
Mm-hmm.
Think so? I think so too, because I can say personally, all my hate that I ever said about Dak was more because of the star on his helmet instead of the name on his back. I'm gonna be real with you. It could have been, I could have been a Lamar Jackson hater if he played with the Cowboys. It's just because you're the Cowboys or the Raiders, to be real with you. And now probably the Chiefs, but Mahomes make me respect them at least. I don't really hate the Chiefs. Raiders for sure. Raiders, Cowboys, It could have been Patrick Mahomes in the Raiders jersey, Cowboys jersey, but I think we do need to put respect on Dak's name a little bit more.
I mean, Dak's a really good quarterback.
Yeah, not even solid. He's good. He's a good quarterback.
He's a really good quarterback in the regular season.
There you go. I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I thought we was gonna have a host of Dak moment, but
that's the key. And also, on a personal note, I don't really rock with Dak like that because he's on some ALM stuff. And if you don't know what ALM stands for, just look it up. But anyway, yeah, he's a really good quarterback in the regular season. The problem is that when he gets to the postseason and when the Cowboys get to the postseason, they more times than not. So, and again, like people will talk about even yesterday, Jalen Hurts had a great game yesterday as well. So it wasn't like Dak outplayed Jalen Hurts. I would say they played pretty much comparable. The difference is that we've seen Jalen Hurts in the postseason take his game to another level.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, at the end of the day, shout out to Dak for becoming the Cowboys' all-time passing leader. But,
Cowboy legend now.
Yeah, well, for now, until the next guy comes in and when the league is even more wide open and becomes more flag football and you can throw for 6,000 yards in the season.
I don't call it flag football.
I said even more flag football. I mean, that's why I don't like doing the number comparison through eras because, again, the way you can light guys up back then, you can't light guys up now. So I don't comparing the eras.
Yeah, but then Go James, he played 10 seasons so far. So, he plays well in regular tries and playoffs where it matters. Keep it real. No, yeah, you could say that. I just think that if the Cowboys was to find a way, which it ain't gonna happen, it's impossible. We know how a lot of losing will have to happen for them to get the number one seed and then be at home. I think if they was to find a way to have all their playoff games at home this season, at least they'll be dangerous because we just seen them lose some playoff games at home too. But that's just the Dak attack. Sean, injury bug. There's a lot of players have got injured. Do you got anybody on the injury bug list for you?
Yeah, obviously Baker Mayfield stands out. They're saying it's a mild sprain to the AC joint in his non-throwing shoulder. Obviously, they're now in a battle for the NFC South with Carolina. So obviously, the Buccaneers are going to have to, make some decisions. That one, certainly stands out. AK Alvin Kamara getting hurt yesterday, obviously, personally stands out. Even though I know, we're not going anywhere near the playoffs except we get a ticket. Those two, obviously stand out for me from yesterday.
Yeah, you kind of took mine because I thought about it. I didn't really have none. So we did the pre-show, Big Baker for sure with the shoulder. That'll probably be the only one I think of. But week 12 recap. I'm going to go through the list of stuff that I learned from this last week from the games I kind of like flipped through. You can tell me what you've seen. One of the things Go Jay said it in the chat first. The Rams are kind of shocking. Yes, I think legitly. I'm gonna say this, Sean. What I learned from this last week, the Rams are legit for sure. Going down the list too again. What I learned. Why does Josh Allen get a pass? Is we not going to talk about how the Bills don't look? So we just skipping past this.
Well, I would say this to respond to your question. Houston has been Josh Allen's kryptonite for some time. They always go back to last season. His worst game in the season last year was against the Texans in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
They just understand how to play against him, and that defense is legit. That's the best defense in the NFL, and I don't say that as hyperbole. That Houston Texans defense is the best defense in the NFL. When you look at yards, the number one in yards given up, the number one in scoring defense, that is the best defense in the NFL that you saw Thursday night, and I think that could potentially push them into the playoffs. I think every team has a team that could potentially be their kryptonite. The Rams' kryptonite is the Eagles. So, I think that's it. All comes down to matchups, but certainly let's think.
Now I can agree with you, right? Because then last week, the last week before then they did a solid game against Buccaneers. But what happened against Miami though? Because it looked at very, very shaky. And shout out, I even be on Jalen Hurts, you know what I'm saying? But I call everybody out. But I definitely agree with that. Jalen Hurts sniff wrong. They call him out. Why we not talking about Josh Allen? Because I can say this, because the Bills, but I said the same thing about the Ravens. Their standard of the season is championship or bust. And the Ravens looking like they getting it together because Lamar's back. The Bills standard is championship or bust. Now, if you tell me they're going to be a solid team, I would not complain at all. But right now, Sean, and part of the problem with them, you could definitely point out the defense. You could give Josh Allen as a part of that too at some points. If we talking championship or bust, this don't look like a championship or bust team.
Mm-hmm. No,
that's why I'm saying right now.
Reality is SB. They're not even the best team in their division. So if you're not the best team in your division, I'm not sure you're a championship team. Especially given how
season is a championship.
Well, I mean, what I'm saying, yes. Now, again, I think there's a lot of expectations, and every year, every season, I know I don't like making predictions like this, but every year there's at least one head coach that gets relieved because the team came up short of expectations. Mm-hmm. My feeling this year is that's potentially Buffalo if they don't get it together.
They got to.
So we'll see what happens, obviously, and they got some tough games coming up the remainder of their schedule as well, including another one against New England. But, we'll see, about the Bills. A couple things that stood out to me yesterday, just watching Kansas City Chiefs. I'm not counting them out until they're officially eliminated.
Oh, 100%.
I'm not counting them out.
Hate to say it. I hate to say it, but 100%.
Yeah, I'm not counting them out until they're officially eliminated. But
Patrick Mahomes is still the best quarterback in the NFL.
And I would say also the other piece is someone's going to have to explain to me, much smarter than I am, why Shane Steichen, the play call with Shane Steichen in the second half of that game, particularly when the only thing that was working against you was the clock. the numerous 3 and outs, giving the Chiefs numerous chance.
You cannot do that.
You can't do that against the Chiefs, especially in Arrowhead. So that was a big standout for me yesterday. Baltimore, for as much as we talk about Lamar Jackson, if Baltimore is going to do anything, it's because that defense continues to play at the level it's played the last few weeks. Now, again, I know it was the Jets, but I'm just looking at their last several weeks. That defense is playing what we always believe Baltimore Raven football to be, Baltimore Raven football.
But Sean, it's hard to play defense when you know, oh, man, I'm going to get this stop and the offense not going to do nothing with the ball. Instead of knowing like, oh, if I get this stop, Lamar and them are actually going to put the ball in the end zone. So now I'm more hyped to get it done instead of like, I'll get a 3 and out. It's for y'all to get a 3 and out for me to get back on the field. That's what I think the difference is. You play different when you know your offense can put up points on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah. But I will say it also is very clear Lamar is not fully healthy because Lamar is not running. So if the Baltimore Ravens want to really seriously make some noise, that offensive line is gonna have to figure some things out, how to better protect Lamar Jackson, who again isn't running because I don't think he's 100% healthy. That's one thing that stood out to me yesterday as well. In a game that we really didn't talk about, that Jacksonville Arizona game. This is why I don't believe in the Jaguars. You're supposed to go out to Arizona and put them out of their misery, and you struggle against that team and go to overtime. This is why I still think the Texans have a chance to lead them in the division, and the Texans haven't even played the Colts yet in that division. So let's watch this.
They didn't yet?
No.
Oh, they never put both. Oh, they pushed them both back like that.
Yeah. So I think it's one of those things where again we're gonna have to just let's wait and see. Let's wait and see on this AFC South before we completely crown that it's going to the Colts because they play Houston this coming Sunday. And then they'll finish at Houston for the season. So let's see. This AFC South is going to get really interesting down the stretch. So those are the things that kind of stood out to me yesterday.
All right, cool. And then the last thing before I get into what we got to talk about tonight and our real takeover reaction is that what stood out to me is the Bears are legit if they learn how to start the game as good as they finish. That's it. I just think the Bears always come out flat. They got to figure that out at some point, but they found ways to win games, which is good. That's the last thing. But we got Monday Night Football because obviously we do our picks of the week. Tonight games matter. I know the game's getting close to start. We don't got to really go too deep dive into this. But are you still confident in your pick of the 49ers, Sean, or you want to tuck away?
No.
And then also, does this game matters for who wins or does it ties?
It matters for who wins. Who wins?
Okay, so Sean, I got the Panthers. Sean got the 49ers. I think the Panthers are going to come get it done. The Panthers have been good.
Yeah.
All right, time for another great segment of Real Take or Overreaction. I usually claim a lot of the Real Take Overreaction stuff that we kind of do. This is Sean. Sean claiming this one. Real Take or Overreaction. Sean believes JSN will get 2,000 yards in 16 games. You had me with 2,000 yards, Sean. But in 16 games, I'm going to have to say this is an overreaction. I just can't see it because you asking for a lot. You asking for 100+ yards in the next 6 games, which he possibly can do it because he has been playing great. But that's a lot to ask. And if the Seattle don't secure a top seed when they just sit them to the last game of the season, which could be a possibility too. But I want to hear it.
So for him to get 2,000 yards in 16 games, he would have to average for the next 5 games 137.4 yards receiving, right? So is it possible? Well, let's look at their next opponents, Seahawks next opponents. And I got to go back to their schedule because I had it up and I put it down for whatever reason. Seahawks over the next few games play the Minnesota Vikings,
Possible.
At Atlanta.
Possible.
Versus the Indianapolis Colts.
Shaky.
Versus the Rams.
Shaky.
At Carolina.
Possible.
Now, just so they played the Rams earlier this season, down in LA. He had 105 receiving yards against the Rams in that game. That was the game Sam Darnold threw 4 interceptions. So I'm saying I believe that JSN will break the 2,000 yard mark in 16 games. I think this is the real take for me. I'm gonna step out on the limb. You heard it here first. JSN will get 2,000 yard receiving in 16 games.
16 games.
Obviously, if he's healthy, the
If
caveat
he's
you gotta be healthy. You know,
Yeah.
wishing him great health, but if he's healthy, he would get the 2,000 yards in 16 games.
Okay, now these was me. I think Clay. Real take or overreaction? Since we talk about breaking records, Myles Garrett will break the single season sack record by 2+ sacks.
So the single season sack record is 22 and a half.
And he's at 18 right now.
He's at 18 right now.
Mm-hmm. And his next, hold on, wait, I had the Browns up to it, and I did the same thing you said. I closed it out because I was looking at JSN stats. His next game is 49ers, Titans. That might be 4 sacks right there, that game. Bears. Might get 1 or 2. Bills, possibly get 1. Maybe he run. Steelers, I know he getting at least 2 on Aaron Rodgers. And if it's Mason Rudolph,
and if it's Mason Rudolph, he getting 9 against.
Nah, he getting 9. He know he hate Mason Rudolph. And then he gonna end the season against and I believe he's gonna play against the Cincinnati Bengals with Joe Flacco or even Joe Burrow start. That's another 2. So if he do 2 every game, so 2, that'll be 20. If he do 2 against the Titans, that'll be 22.
Yes.
1 against the Bears, 23. Record broken already. Right. Bills, he get 124. Steelers, I think I'm seeing the 2 to 3 sacks.
Yeah.
He might do 2. I'm telling you, Sean. I'm seeing him breaking the record. He might break the record during the Titans game.
I think he gets 25 sacks this season. So yeah, I will agree with you.
Yeah, he getting that. Yeah, nah, it's
real take. Real take.
He's the best defender of football right now. Real take or overreaction? This might cause some controversy. The Eagles will not make the NFC Championship game if they don't secure the number 1 seed. It's too many questions with this team. It's too many up and downs. But I know one thing, and I'm being honest, it's hard to win in Philly. But if they have to be on the road, I do not trust them. I trust them getting out of there early.
So just to be clear, they're the number 2 seed right now because they lost yesterday. The Rams won yesterday, so the Rams are the 1 seed in the NFC. Which means they only have to win. They got to win 2 games in Philly, and then if they're the number 2 seed and go on the road in the NFC Championship game. This is an overreaction. They will still play 2 games in Philly, even if they're the 2 seed. Now, if they finish tied with the Rams, they will be the 1 seed because they own the tiebreaker over the Rams. So this is an overreaction. The Eagles will make the NFC Championship game if they are the number 2. And I'm going to even say, even if they're the 3 seed, they will make the NFC Championship game.
I'm just saying, and I'm worried about. I'm worried about it because the Cowboys is coming, and then the Eagles looking shaky. Because what I'm really saying, and I'm not trying to overreact. I'm really saying I think if they don't get together, I see them dropping a lot.
I think again yesterday was an absolute crazy game that they lost by a game-winning field goal. So, and they play Friday against the Bears. I think they'll get back on track Friday against the Bears. Overreaction. Okay. Real take or overreaction? NFL young boy, which is his nickname, George Pickens, is worthy enough to be a wide receiver 1. I'm not gonna go as far as say wide receiver 1 on CD yet, but if he practices for the rest of the season, going into next season, you're gonna really have to question.
Real take overreaction. Because he ain't. I don't remember the last time I seen him drop a catch.
Waiting a contract year, so yes, he better catch everything.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah. Now that said, I don't disagree with you. I think this is a real take. I think this is a real take.
And he throws some crazy. Dak throws some crazy stuff at him. Double coverage. He still found a way to catch a ball, which is crazy.
Yeah, contract year.
That makes sense. But the problem, we can both agree that I don't think the problem with George Pickens is his talent or his play. It's his attitude and make sure he his antics. As long as if he locked in focused, he's one of the best receivers in the league.
Agreed.
For sure. Next one. Real take or overreaction. Not 100% when I'm saying this. 1,000% when I say this. JJ McCarthy is 1,000% a bust. Grabilacio. Once you gave yourself a nickname and you ain't done nothing to get a goddamn nickname, trash. And you got Jay Jettas on your team and you got him looking like I can't even say it. Let's say a receiver. I can't think of a trash. I can't even do Jetta like that. But he got Jetta looking trash. He's a bust. Real take overreaction.
I'm going to say overreaction with an asterisk because it's only been a few games. He started a season less than a season worth of games so far. This is technically his rookie year. Now, he's not looked good, to be very clear.
His stats need last in a lot of stats.
Yes, he's not looked good. That said, I'm going to say overreaction with an asterisk, but I'm going to wait and see because maybe he will figure it out because I will remind people there's a guy who plays in Buffalo that his first 2 seasons did not look very good either.
But at least we can say that quarterback is tall and can run.
Well,
and he has a cannon of an arm, so he has intangibles. Give me one JJ McCarthy intangible where it's like, JJ got that.
That's a good question. That's a good question.
JJ got this. At least I can say Josh Allen can throw the ball 80 yards.
I know he had a perfect handoff for him when he was at Michigan. That I know. But other than that, I can't say. That said, I'm not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater. It's not looked good. It is very concerning. And again, a lot of it is he's starting on a team that has a lot of expectations, right? He was basically given the keys to the Range Rover and told not to crash it. Well, he's crashed it.
Because he ain't got no driver's license.
Yeah. Well, clearly he never went through driver's training because looks really bad. And again, they played better with Carson Wentz. So, I think I'm going to say overreaction with an asterisk, but it's not trending good right now. Can he switch it? Absolutely. But that remains to be seen. But I'm going to say overreaction with an asterisk.
Okay. Real take or overreaction because of this quarterback that we just talked about was so trash. But I think this quarterback play is the only thing holding him back. But I still believe Justin Jefferson is still the best receiver in football. It's just a bad season because of his quarterback.
He's still in the conversation. I won't say it's an absolute. He's still definitely in the conversation. But I wouldn't say it's an absolute at this point.
I think the only thing holding him back is JJ.
Maybe.
I still believe in my boy. Last one. Real take or overreaction. Kevin Stefanski does not like Shedeur. 4. I'm gonna say at least it's not Shedeur. A lot of people saying it's personal. Personally, I don't think it's that. I think he don't like Shedeur because of the fan reaction that the fans Shedeur, and they called out actions that how Kevin Stefanski is. And 2, I don't feel like Kevin Stefanski has a true attachment to quarterbacks because he had so many during his time in Cleveland. So I feel like he don't know how to gain an attachment to his quarterback, and I feel like he just a little uncultured to understand what's going on. But I do agree with the saying of everybody or the call out of all the fans that Kevin Stefanski seemed like he doesn't like Shedeur. But though I don't think it's the reason why they saying like it's in his I don't think it's personal. I just think he don't like how people attacks him with Shedeur fans or they defend Shedeur. and also just think like he don't really have a true attachment to quarterbacks at all. Especially, I think he had 10 different quarterbacks at this point in time.
Maybe more.
Maybe more, yeah. So that's me. Real takeover reaction.
Can I quote Fences, the movie, or the play Fences for a moment?
Mm.
What law is it say I got to like you?
Yeah, no, you're right. You don't have to like them, but don't sabotage yourself.
I don't think he said. I don't think that. But people use terms like sabotage and this team and this coach is trying to sabotage. What benefit does Kevin Stefanski get from that?
Nothing.
Well, that's my point. So no, his part of his long-term success and his coaching staff's long-term success and viability in Cleveland is them figuring out that quarterback position. I don't think it's a matter of like Shedeur. I think it's a matter of, hey, we got two guys. We drafted two guys. We need to see both of these guys play. The guy we drafted first was the guy they wanted to see play first. That guy got hurt. Now the guy we drafted second is now getting a chance to play, and we're going to try to put him and our team in the best position to win football games. That's it. So it ain't about like. It's about win. What we got to do every week to win. Now, is Shedeur doing the things that they're asking him to do?
Yeah.
That, again, seems to be yes, but that remains to continue to be seen. He and Stefanski, obviously, because Stefanski is the play caller, have to have some symbiosis. So, yeah, there does need to be some level of relationship there. But this is a part of this process. I don't think it's a matter of like. I think what Kevin Stefanski is liking every week to give his team a chance to win a football game. That's what he likes because that keeps them employed.
Well, so, make sure you don't punt the ball in your own 30 again because you don't want to run up the score on Pete Carroll. Like, man, get out of here with that. Yeah, but Sean, we got to go through because obviously tonight game.
I know we had one more real takeover reaction from the NBA.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Hold on. Yeah, I'm glad you did say this one. Which they do look good. By the way, that's what I want to say before we drop. They do look good this season so far. And that one player, I just don't want to see him shoot 40+ shots to only score 40 points again. But real takeover reaction.
That's KLN. Kobe-like number.
Kobe-like, it is Kobe-like. The Detroit Pistons will make the conference finals. Woo-wee.
It's very early, obviously. Very early.
But
I'm gonna say real take if they swing one trade.
The Laurie Marketer trade?
Yeah. If they swing one trade. If they don't, I don't think they made the conference finals.
Also, as we speak, Detroit is up a dub as we speak right now. But it's against the Pacers, though. I'm gonna agree with you on that. It's a real take because the East is wide open right now. The Toronto Raptors has the number 2 seed right now. Right. The East is wide open. Right. The Knicks has not been consistent so far. I think it's going to Knicks. Even your Heat's number 4 to Cleveland. I'm going to say even Milwaukee Bucks are 8-9, which is crazy. I would have expected more from Giannis and them. I'm gonna say this, and people are gonna discredit the West when they win. It's probably going to be the Thunder again that make it back-to-back because I think whoever they play in the East, unless something crazy happen, the East got to make a trade. Something else got to happen because the East is wide open, but kind of mediocre wide open. I'm not going to lie, Sean.
Yeah, it's just the concern with the Pistons for me is I think they're playing really well. And, again, obviously they're on a 12-game winning streak right now and will probably win tonight, making it 13. I think they could have potentially one of the top 2 records in the Eastern Conference. But when they get in the playoff series, I think I do have some concerns about, them having a second consistent quality scorer next to Cade. To your point, I don't want Cade taking 45 shots in a game. That's just not good. So, again, my belief is Laurie Marketing makes way too much sense for them. But we'll see if they.
Who would you give up for Laurie Marketing though?
Well, to make the contracts work, it would have to be a combination of Tobias Harris and Isaiah Stewart and probably, a couple picks, obviously.
Yeah.
I know they don't want to give up Stewart. They like Stewart. He's a dirty work guy. He does a lot of tangible things for them. But it's just from a contract perspective. There may be another combination that can work, but Tobias Harris would have to be the big contract to go out as an expiring contract.
I think they hot right now, so I don't see them making a trade. I think they got to hit like a brick wall, and then I think they'll make the trade. And it had to be like offensively the reason why they hit the brick wall for them to make the trade. But they do look good right now.
Yeah,
we got to go through
SB and Sean NFL picks of the week.
SB and Sean NFL picks of the week. We got the game getting started because tonight games matter to break our time. But what did me and you pick, and who won what?
All right, Pittsburgh and Chicago. We both took the Bears. The Bears did win.
Yes, sir. The Bears.
Yeah, New England at Cincinnati. We both took the Patriots. The Patriots did win. Giants at Detroit. We both took Detroit. Detroit did win that one in overtime. Minnesota at Green Bay. We both took the Packers. Packers did win. Seattle at Tennessee. We both took the Seahawks. Seahawks did win. Colts at the Chiefs. You took the Colts. I took the Chiefs. Chiefs did win that one in overtime. Jets at Baltimore. We both took the Ravens. Ravens pulled that one out. Cleveland at Vegas. You took Cleveland. I took Vegas. Cleveland did win that one. Jacksonville, Arizona. Jacksonville did pull that one out in overtime. We both took them. So we got that one. Philly at Dallas. We both took Philly. Dallas obviously won that game late. Atlanta at New Orleans. We both took the Falcons. Falcons did win that game. Tampa Bay at the Rams. Rams blew them out. Was never a game last night. We both took the Rams. So Rams win that one. Tonight's game does count because we did split on the two games that we picked differently. Carolina at San Francisco. You took the Panthers. I took the Niners. So tonight's game will count for the win.
I got that question. Double back again, Sean, real quick. Besides the two games we picked against, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the Eagles and the Cowboys, because the Cowboys did a great comeback. We didn't get a game wrong, did we?
No.
Lock it in, man. Real Take So Fake Debates, man. This is what me and Sean do, man. That's all I have to say. But it's been another great episode of Real Take So Fake Debates with Sean and SB. And we will see you guys on the next one. We are out. Peace, because the game's on and the Bulls game on, so forget to watch this Bulls game. Peace out.
Real takes over fake debates.